There are hundreds, possibly thousands of videos on YouTube about 277 Fury or 68x51, the Army's new round for their next generation weapon system. There is one thing that separates this video from the overwhelming majority of those videos, and that is that we have actually shot 277 Fury a lot. We've put hundreds of rounds downrange of 277 Fury and 68x51. We're going to tell you our impressions. Does it live up to the hype or does it fall short of the claims? What rifle did we use as a host? So glad that you asked. Well, it is nothing less than the M5, the Army's new next generation weapon system. This rifle belongs to Illumined Arms, and none of this would be possible without their help. They've got a lot of amazing things in the works. This will definitely be a company you will be hearing a lot more from in the very near future. Go give them a follow on social media so you can stay up to date on everything Illumined Arms has coming down the pipe. We're going to have a few videos in this series, but this particular one will be about the 277 Fury and the military counterpart 68x51 cartridges and their ballistic capabilities. We will have a video on the M5 very soon, but we can't talk about the cartridges' capabilities unless you have at least some idea of what it's being shot out of. At the most basic level, the 277 Fury Spear is a blown-up version of the MCX that is able to accommodate short-action cartridges like 308, 6.5 Creedmoor, and 277 Fury. Some other improvements have been made. This model is capable of side charging, and some major changes have been made on the operating system. We will go over all of that in great detail in the video about the M5, but this video is primarily about the cartridge and its capabilities. The most important thing about this gun for this video is it only has a 13-inch barrel. For those unfamiliar with exactly what this is, SIG has won the contract for the US military's next generation weapon system. They released a very small batch to the public and sent them out exactly the way the military will get them, with a 13-inch barrel. Now, for those of you familiar with ballistics, you may be immediately saying that puts this at a huge ballistics disadvantage, and we'll take a look at that in just a minute. But basically, the military wanted something that gave them the capability of having a relatively short rifle that was able to be used in close quarter situations while still being effective at longer ranges if the need came up. In layman terms, a short barrel rifle that is also a long range rifle. Can't be done, right? Well, let's see what SIG has come up with, but first we have to know where we've been to know where we're going. Since the 1960s, the US military has used 5.56, and pretty much since its inception, it has been criticized for lack of power or kinetic energy on target, as well as its lack of effectiveness at longer ranges, for instance over 300 yards. Almost since its inception, people have been looking to replace it with a more powerful, more capable round. Some recent notable contenders have been the 6.8 SPC and the 6 ARC, both of which would have been able to fit into all current M4 style rifles the military uses with very minor changes. Before the 5.56 was adopted, the round used by the US military's infantry rifle was the 308, which was a much more capable, much more devastating round, and it also worked better at distance than 5.56. The military originally adopted 5.56 because they decided that most infantry conflicts took place inside 300 yards. 5.56 was lighter for troops so they could carry more ammunition on their person, and the gun was more controllable and easier to train troops how to shoot it effectively. This was all very true fighting in conflicts like Vietnam. However, more recent conflicts like Iraq and Afghanistan, where conflicts sometimes took place over much longer ranges than 300 yards, have brought back into light the lackluster performance of 5.56 at longer ranges. The military desired something that could be effective at longer ranges, while still being compact enough that a soldier could still clear buildings. This would take more than just a new gun, it would take a new caliber, and beyond that, a new innovation in ammunition technology. So as impressive as the SIG Spear is, the really revolutionary aspect is the ammunition. What exactly is 277 Fury? Well, at the simplest form, it is 308 neck down to accept a 277 or 6.8 cartridge. However, SIG has done a little more than just neck down a 308 case. They use a proprietary powder blend to achieve the optimum ballistic capabilities from the regular load, and then they have the hybrid load. It is important to understand there are essentially two loadings of 277 Fury. The regular loading, which will have a brass case and look like most normal rounds. It really doesn't look like anything special. And then there's the hybrid loading. SIG has developed a brass case with steel at the rear to handle higher pressure to get even more out of this cartridge. This hybrid loading has the military designation of 6.8 by 51, and that steel in the back allows SIG to increase chamber pressure up to 80,000 psi. I know that doesn't mean much for most, but let me put it to you like this. 50 BMG only has a chamber pressure of 60,000 psi, and the Remington 700 rifle is only rated to handle 60,000 psi. So when this round goes off, it has more pressure per square inch than a 50 BMG, or more pressure than the most prolific bolt action of all time, the Remington 700, can even handle. Needless to say, that's a lot of power. By increasing the pressure and building guns that can handle that pressure, SIG has really developed a whole new ammo segment. This essentially allows them to put far more energy on target, achieve higher velocities out of shorter barrels, and do all of that in a smaller, lighter package. Through begging, pleading, crying, whining, general irritation that could also just be called persistence, I was able to get a small amount of 6.8 by 51 for this video. It came in a white generic box and was loaded with the same 135 grain projectile that is supposed to be the equivalent of Sierra Match King, but not Sierra Match King, and at first glance it could be the exact same loading with just a fancy hybrid case. Well, the only way I know how to test it is to check velocity. If this is truly running higher pressure, it should have higher velocity when shot out of the same length barrel. First up, the brass-cased regular 277 Fury. With the standard brass case 277 Fury, we got an average velocity of right around 2,600 feet per second, which is actually very impressive out of this 13-inch barrel. That is about the same speed as a 308 out of a 20-inch barrel, and just a little slower than 6.5 Creedmoor out of a 24-inch barrel. We'll do a more in-depth comparison in a minute. Now it's time to see what the hybrid case 6.8 by 51 can do. Now, it is important to note that I have no idea if this is the real military loading. I would think that the military would probably be getting some type of steel or partial steel penetrating projectiles, but this is what we were sent and can test with. Okay, out of a 13-inch barrel, the 6.8 by 51 is producing 2,900 feet per second, which is insane. I don't want to bore anyone too much that doesn't care a lot about the ballistics, but if you compare these findings to 308 with a 20-inch barrel and 6.5 Creedmoor with a 24-inch barrel in trajectory, the 6.8 by 51 far exceeds the trajectory of the 308 and hangs real close with the 6.5 Creedmoor. And keep in mind, the 6.8 by 51 only has a 13-inch barrel, while the 308 and 6.5 Creedmoor have much longer barrels. Not surprisingly, in the bullet trajectory test, the 223 loading came in last, but really it's not even fair to compare 277 Fury or 6.8 by 51 to any loading of 5.56. 6.5 Creedmoor and 308 are far more fair comparisons. When we take a look at kinetic energy, the findings are also very interesting. The 308 tested has the most kinetic energy, but it just barely edges out 6.8 by 51 by the slightest of margins. And again, I think we need to consider that this is a 13-inch barrel for the 6.8 by 51 and a 20-inch barrel for the 308. All things considered, the 6.8 by 51 is by far the most capable cartridge in the shortest package available, and the military really does essentially have a close quarters gun that doubles as a long-range rifle. I know that we shot it at long range 20. Just for those who care, this data was all from my actual guns and loads I use or buy, so in some cases the ammo may have got a bump from what is actually used by the military, but I tried to find good data on the interwebs for the actual loads, and they all had me scratching my head a bit. So these are all real numbers from actual loads that I have tested in the real world with real guns under real conditions. No educated guesses. Another interesting thing was a requirement from the military was the new round not weighing more than 308, and SIG has accomplished this as well. This is pretty impressive considering that part of the case is steel. All of this is very cool and really pushing everything to the absolute limits. What SIG has been able to accomplish is nothing short of extraordinary. My only concern is barrel life. Pushing these rounds at these pressures, all conventional thoughts would say that barrel life is going to be short in these guns. Now, of course, I will say that barrel swaps on this particular platform are extremely easier, but it is just something to think about. If anyone thinks the 277 Fury isn't here to stay, I'd beg to differ, because it has something going for it that goes beyond ballistics, kinetic energy, and performance. Military adoption. Want to know what keeps a cartridge alive? Military adoption. 223, 308, 30-06, 4570, all military cartridges dating back over a century and all still available today. I'm excited about both 277 Fury and 6.8x51. Not exactly sure how much use civilians will get from 6.8x51, but if you take the 277 Fury round that we tested and increase the barrel length to say about 16 inches, the performance of the 277 Fury should get very close to that of the 6.8x51. I can only hope that SIG makes a barrel available for my Cross and 277 Fury very soon. You know what would have been cool? If we shot level 4 armor with it. Oh, wait a minute, we did. Oh well, this video is getting kind of long. We'll have to make that the next video in the series. Thank you all for watching. Guys, thank you so much for watching, and a huge thank you goes out to Illumined Arms for making this all happen. They were the ones that loaned me the 277 Fury Spear so we could get all this data for you. If you're not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now, because we have some more videos in the 277 Fury Spear series. We also have some other really cool stuff in the works that you won't want to miss. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so YouTube can let you know when we drop a new video. If you want to see what's being reviewed in real time, way before it hits the YouTube channel, check us out on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Also, if you like what you see here and you want to help support the channel, the best possible way to do that is through Patreon. YouTube's been making some changes here, and we will be putting more videos on more topics on our Patreon page, so go subscribe to that so you can get a deeper dive into everything that we do here. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching.